Alright, so disclaimer. If somebody approaches my ass and tries to rob me and I have an out, I'm going to run the fuck away and I'm going to scream police, rape, fire, Al-Qaeda, COVID-19, and Jesus. I've been to prison trying to be a tough guy. I definitely know I can handle myself, but I also know there's some things that are just more important. This is a self-defense tool, and that tool should be used as an absolute last resort. If I have nowhere to go, nowhere to run, and no other option, I will use it. But anything other than that, again, I'm running my ginger ass the fuck away, and I don't care what anyone has to say about it. Also, I am not even going to try to monetize this video. This is a damn good self-defense weapon, and in order for me to tell you how I know that, this is going to get a little graphic. Viewer discretion advised. Alright, so for all those who are curious about how I went to prison using a self-defense knife, feel free to watch a video on my channel entitled The True Cost of Self-Defense. I will do the best I can to remember to link it in the description below and or in a pinned comment, but either way, let's get on with the actual video for now. So, there are some things I will only hint at because I was not caught for them, and there are other things that I did extra time for that I can by all means talk about. First off, when using a blade for self-defense, you are pretty much guaranteed to hurt yourself, to cut yourself. I am trained, I've been training almost my entire life, to be clear, not so much for knife combat, but sometimes for knife combat. But either way, I am not your average Joe, and even still, I've been fucked up quite a few times, even just training with blades, much less actually, in a combat situation. On the outside, I've been involved in 3 separate knife fights, 2 of which I was a little ass kid and I was just scared and getting jumped and not much damage happened. And another of which somebody got pretty severely hurt. I also managed to stab myself and I went to prison for it. Again, video linked in the description. Now, all of these stories are going to be told from the perspective of a 12-year-old boy in the California Youth Authority. So when I say I have experience, I have experience. So I went to Preston Youth Correctional Facility, and for all you fact checkers out there, I think I'm fucking lying. My Y number was 90077. Feel free to look me up. CYA has absolutely no structure, just a whole bunch of violent ass kids doing violent ass things. And if things go really, really bad, chances are they're going to lock your ass in a dorm with about 100 other people, throw a can of tear gas in, and let you all just fight it out. So you really and genuinely have to fight to survive, and I've done just that more times than I care to admit, count, and or fucking think about. I have made shanks from bed springs. I literally knocked one of the side rails off of my actual bed and sharpened it. I've broken apart toilets and sinks and used the actual porcelain to sharpen, which sharpens up very, very well. I've used sticks, pieces of metal from the cafeteria, sharpened rocks, and pretty much anything you could think about, chances are I've made it into a weapon to try to fight for my life in those walls. Now, during these numerous encounters, I have cut open my hands to the bone. I've caused nerve damage that still haunts me to this day, fucking almost 20 years later. Goddamn, I feel old. I have stabbed myself twice in the leg, both the right leg. I can't diversify, all has to be the same place apparently. I've given myself a very deep laceration to the abdomen. I've stabbed myself in the forearm while actually wrestling somebody on the ground. Things just get out of hand and they go really, really crazy. And you really want a very purpose-driven tool. And as much as I hate talking about this type of stuff, man, things are absolutely crazy right now. And a lot of people want a tool to help themselves feel better. And if you don't have access to a firearm, a knife is a decent alternative. Personally, I would go more blunt force trauma, but if you don't only have a blade, then a blade will definitely work. Though I think a blade in this fashion is the absolute perfect answer, and here's why. While making all these different shanks, weapons, and things to try to survive, over time I very much developed a very certain style, and it was basically what I called the reinforced point. There was no edge, there was no nothing, there was just an actual point, because honestly, more often than not, the slashing attacks, things just get too crazy. People close the distances too fast. Things just get really, really out of hand. And the next thing you know, you need that really close quarters combat thing. And if someone's on top of you, slashing like this isn't really a viable option. You know, you need to poke upwards, poke to the side, poke to the back. It's ugly. I hate talking about it again, but this is something people need to know about. So, you know, here we are. The half-face blade's cardiac spike is just that. It is a spike. It is a reinforced point. It does have, you know, edge geometry going all the way down, but as you can see, there's no edge. Like, I'm not going to cut myself here. What is there is a very, very capable and reinforced point that just doing this, it goes into my skin. Like, there's like no pressure being applied at all. And because of this geometry, this will also puncture much, much deeper than a standard blade. I mean, as you can see in the video going right now, I did not stab anybody. Like, this is literally just me, you know, stabbing some steak. But I mean, it's, if you got to do it, it'll definitely work. And some frozen steak is way more durable than our soft squishy bits, so it'll definitely work for this. It also feels really good, both in the hand, just a standard like this, you know, a thrusting motion or whatever. And it also feels very good in this kind of, I think they call it a saber grip, but I don't know, just stabby grip. To be very clear, and I cannot stress this enough, don't watch a movie or a 5-minute self-defense video and go, oh, I know how to do this now. Train, train, train. And if you can't train, don't do this. Don't be a fucking idiot, man. There's people when I was actually in prison as well as CYA that you would see them hold a fucking knife and just do this. And we think in our heads, fucking amateur, this guy's an idiot. And here's why. If you grab a blade, to be very, very clear, you can get it out of someone's hand. There's going to be consequences, man, but you know, you can definitely do it, and people definitely do it. But if you do it like this, you can grab this whole piece right here and push your body forward and lock their fucking arm in and make it easier to grab, or at the very least just submit, hold someone's weapon there, grab them with one fucking arm, lean your chest, and just start stabbing them your damn self. An underhanded grip, where you basically keep it tight to your body, pivot upwards, and then move back, is what you really want, and or just to be very, very aggressive and just finish it. The only real time this grip, in my humble opinion, is a viable option is if you're just trying to keep somebody away. If someone's reaching for you, stab their arm. Stab, go back. Stab, go back. Stab, go back. If I was carrying this and somebody attacked me, had no other option, that is what I would do, because I can then argue in court very clear that, hey, I was not trying to engage. I had this weapon. The only thing that is stabbed is their forearms because they were trying to grab me. I never got to the point to where I tried to physically hurt somebody else. I was just trying to keep my own self safe. In California, where I live, you'll still go to prison, but it might not be for quite as long, and it's easier to argue that, you know, you're not being the aggressor carrying a knife. So it works both for this and for this. Talked about ways this might be viable in either fashion. Again, don't listen to my ass, just a jackass on the internet. Train, 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 and train again. But the ergonomics for this facilitate both grips to where they really just have zero hot spots. The design of this knife is really, really well done. The paracord provides fantastic traction. You're really not going anywhere. Like, yeah, I'm like trying really hard to pull this out, and it's not going. So it's simplistic, it's clean. If you want to conceal carry it, you can. I don't know if I would conceal carry it in this type of sheath. I'd probably something a little higher up, because having all of this kind of stabbing into your stomach, because you got to think about, if you're carrying it low on your waistband, you're going to have that much going up into your actual stomach. If you're skinny, cool. I'm not skinny. This shit'll hurt my fat ass. But on your belt, if you want to carry basically a prison shank, I mean, it'll work well for that, I guess. Personally, not how I'm going to carry it, but I mean, it could definitely be a thing, I guess. But be all, the biggest piece about this knife that I love is this is a pretty thick piece of steel. If you wanted to pry with this, this could very effectively be a pry bar. It has no edge. You're not going to cut yourself. It could be a very utilitarian tool. And then if things really and genuinely go crazy and you have no other option, it's a very, very effective puncture-only weapon. And because it just has this little ass point right here, it's not going to be impossible to stab yourself. I think I've proven that a couple times over, but you know, it's a much less likely scenario, and the odds of you hurting yourself are greatly reduced. and the odds of you hurting somebody else are increased, which is ugly. I get it, man, but in the days we live in, it might be necessary. The paracord wrap and the handle swell just give it a really fantastic grip. You can really tell Half-Face Blades cared about their customer, and they made a very, very cool and also very functional and well done piece. I've tried like maybe 9 other different spikes, everything from Bastinelli to Microtex Tac P, some other stuff as well. And honestly, I think this is the best of the best in my humble opinion. So if you want a spike and a purpose-driven tool, I would definitely recommend the Half-Face Blades Cardiac Spike. This thing is fantastic for what it is, and what it is isn't very nice. As always, folks, I love you all with all of my heart. Please take care, and bye-bye.